Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. This podcasting microphone that you are hearing is the newest microphone from Movo. It is the UM6 dynamic podcast microphone, and it has replaced my original Rode pod mic for a couple of different reasons, but it's not without its flaws. A couple of disclaimers that I want to make very, very clear about this video is that one, this is not going to be a technical review. However, this is chatty and this is unscripted and I have like just bullet points, but it's going to be very genuine. This has been sent to me for free by Movo, which thank you Movo so much. I really, really appreciate it. I never really thought that I would be getting microphones sent to me. With that being said though, they have no influence into what I'm saying in this video. In fact, this video, when it's uploaded, this is the first time anyone from Movo is ever going to be looking at it. And it probably will be the last time Movo sends me anything because y'all, this is a very chatty, unconventional product review. And also I have legit criticisms for this microphone. And sometimes companies want you to, sugarcoat stuff, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be very honest, but I'm also going to be honest. This has been my new favorite microphone and it has not left this boom arm other than to see if I wanted to go back to my Rode pod mic, which I do not. If that's any indication of how much I like this mic and what it sounds like, there you go. We're going to use this mic for this entire review so you can hear all of the pros and cons. And if you want to hear about some of the features, keep on watching. So this microphone, like I mentioned, is a podcasting microphone. You can also use it for streaming. I've used it for quite a few streams over the past couple of months. It has a great build quality, and I think it sounds pretty daggone good for a microphone. So Movo, I have two of their products already, so I'm already pretty familiar with the brand. They make a lot of audio equipment. They make like wireless mics. They make shotgun mics. They now make podcasting mics. There's a lot of things for just content creation, and they've been pretty reliable for me over the years. So I was pretty excited to see that they made a podcasting XLR USB mic to kind of compete with some of the other brands out there. So yay. Thanks, Movo. They're pretty affordable products compared to some of the other bigger brands. This microphone retails for $169 USD, which is kind of, for the quality of microphone this is, I think it is reasonable. If you are comparing this microphone to other companies like Fifine or Mayano, which are a bit on the cheaper side, I've owned a Fifine mic. It felt very cheap. It's expensive. This microphone is up there in the camp of like your Rode pod mic, your Shure, the new Shure mic that came out, not the SM7B, but the smaller version that they just came out with, as well as the Shure MB7. Like this is in that kind of realm. So you're not going to go with your like Mayano RGB microphone. Y'all know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. And I say that because I have a Rode pod mic, the original Rode pod mic. And as far as the quality of the two, the weight is there. This capsule is, I'm not going to touch this microphone too much because you're going to see why when I talk about the flaws. The capsule of this mic is heavy. It is metal and it is the weight is there. So you're not getting some plasticky microphone. It does have some heft to it. I think that's probably where the $169 price range comes in. Okay, so this microphone does feature a built-in preamp. What that means is if you're going to use the XLR connection, you don't need to add like a gain booster or like a cloud lifter. There's a few microphones that use XLR where you need to do that. The Shure SM7B is one of them. The original Rode pod mic is also another one where it's really low, the volume, if you don't use a gain booster. XLR sounds a lot better over USB-C. So that's why a lot of people prefer to use an XLR microphone. Other features of this microphone include the fact that it has onboard controls, which is super great. So if you're on the go and you're taking this like on your trip somewhere and you're like live streaming from like your hotel room, you have onboard controls, so you could just use USB-C. You have your mute button. You also have a button to control the audio that comes out because you can plug in headphones and monitor what you sound like. And then you also have like your volume controls to turn up the volume, which essentially is your gain of your microphone. I have a new subscriber apparently. Sarah, welcome to the channel, Sarah. Thank you for subscribing. I didn't know I still had my alerts turned on. Okay, your volume or your gain that you can also adjust here. One thing to note, if you are going to use the onboard controls, you can only use them when you plug this microphone in via USB-C. You cannot use these onboard controls if it's plugged in over XLR. You can also lock these onboard controls. So like if you're fiddling with the mic for some reason, I don't know why you would, because I told you this thing's noisy. You can lock it so you won't accidentally like mess with the function. It has a high pass and a low pass filter. Because this is a dynamic microphone and not a condenser microphone, you should, in theory, have less noise being picked up, which means, you know, things going on in the background, your fans on your computer, fire trucks in the background, that kind of thing. But one of the flaws with this microphone, which we'll talk about in a minute, one of the flaws, this thing's noisy. It picks up more noise than my original Rode Pod mic. All that gets picked up. You're going to need a noise gate, friends. And I actually have a noise gate on right now, and you could still hear that. So do keep that in mind. I mean, no one's really going to be like tapping on their boom arm like that, but sometimes your boom arm, you know, you got to move it around and you don't want people to hear that. The XLR, like I mentioned, is going to sound way better over USB-C, but we'll do a test with the USB-C here in a minute. But right now, everything that you're hearing right now is over the XLR connection. As you can see, I have it attached here to a boom arm, but you could easily take this off and attach it to a microphone stand if you so chose. It has an audio jack here at the bottom for you to monitor, as well as the USB-C input. Those are both here at the bottom of the microphone. The pop filter is removable and it's magnetic. Why you would want to take it off, I have no idea, because you always want to make sure you have a pop filter on your microphone so you're not blowing people's ears out. But Movo, great opportunity here for you to allow people to change the color of their pop filter. If this is going to be in your lineup from now on, pink and white, maybe a blue and a green. I'm just saying. I'll buy one. In the box with the microphone, you get the microphone itself. You get a USB-C to USB-C cable. You get a USB to USB-C cable, and you get your XLR cable. I'm going to tell you right now, in the instructions, it recommends that you do use the XLR cable that comes with the mic, and they are not lying when they said that. I have another XLR mic that I tried to use, and it didn't sound right. It sounded kind of like tingy. So I swapped it out for the actual XLR mic that came with this, and it sounds a lot better. It could be an issue with that cable itself. I really don't know. But if you do have audio issues and you're using a different XLR mic than the one that came with it, just try swapping it out and seeing if that makes a difference. It also has a 2-year warranty with the microphone as well. Let's talk about some things that I like about this microphone. I like the build quality. I feel like this is pretty solid. It's pretty heavy. Let me show y'all my Rode Pod mic. This is my Rode Pod mic. This thing weighs, it has some heft. This has some heft as well. Not as heavy, so my boom arm doesn't need more like tension added to it as much as I would with this one, but it's up there. Like, this is pretty solid. That's pretty solid too. Like, this is metal. So I love the fact that this feels like a big girl microphone. I like the onboard controls. I think that's super great to be able to have onboard controls here and not have to go through an audio interface. Love the fact that it supports XLR and USB connectivity. So if I want to, you know, kind of have a little bit less wires, if I don't want to use an audio interface, I don't have to go that route. It just makes it a little bit easier sometimes for streaming or content creation. I like the fact that I do not need a preamp at all. With my Rode Pod mic, I have to use a preamp, and I just love the fact that I don't need it with this, and it has the gain already built in. It has this little knob here to adjust and tilt as needed, in addition to your boom arm, of course, but this was nice to be able to tilt it. I would like the ability, you have to use this though. The placement of this is a little tricky, but we figured it out. Let's switch over to USB-C so you can listen to some of that audio and talk about some of the flaws with this microphone. Okay, now everything is switched over to the USB-C microphone. I have no noise removal on or anything like that, so you can kind of get an idea of how this would sound without any artificial processing. Okay, I mentioned how I wasn't going to talk about the high pass and the low pass filter. I actually am, because it does make a difference as far as your voice sounds. Like I mentioned, you can only use these if you connect over USB-C. So right now I have no high pass or no low cut. So high pass and low cut. It probably sounds real bassy right now, but say you are someone who doesn't want to sound like Barry White and you want less bass in your voice, you can change that. So you can be a little more flat, a little bit higher, a little bit brighter, so to speak. So let's just sing a Barry White song real quick. I can't get enough of your love, babe. So if we'll switch it, can't get enough of your love, babe. How does that sound? I don't know. We're going to hear it in playback. I hit it too many times. Okay. I can't get enough of your love, babe. And then if we do both of them, I can't get enough of your love, babe. So that's the 3 different options that you have. Again, USB-C only. If you use an XLR, you're going to sound real bassy, friends, really, really bassy. And you're going to want to use an equalizer to kind of bring that down a little bit. I personally kind of like a little bit of bass, but sometimes I don't want a lot of bass. You know, depends on like what kind of video I'm going for. If I'm doing like a creepy spooky season live stream, or if I'm doing like a gaming review or something like that, maybe I don't want to sound super bassy. So you have options here that doesn't require you to download a software to EQ your voice. So hope that was helpful. Let's get back into the other part of the video. Let's talk about some of the criticisms I have of this microphone, y'all. Okay, so the first criticism is that I can't use the onboard controls. They're only for USB-C. So as you can see here, I don't know if you can see this here, the USB-C controls are on. The cool thing about when you talk into this microphone via USB-C is you can actually see your levels like in this bar right here. Y'all see this? How it's moving? So it gives you a really good idea of like whether or not you're peaking with your audio or anything like that, which is super great. I don't know how this would work with XLR, right? Like with XLR, you have to have some sort of audio interface anyway to use an XLR microphone. So you'd be able to see all of that through, say, like your Rodecaster or your Wavelink. I don't know. I want both. It's just probably unreasonable and not how things work, but I want both. So I don't like that I can't see this like while I'm using my XLR microphone. Not that I need it, but I just want to look at it. You know what I mean? I want to look at it. Another criticism I have with this microphone is that this pop filter is really, really sensitive. It's magnetic, which is super great, but it's kind of flimsy. The magnets could be a bit stronger. And I feel like the quality of this pop filter is not quite there. It feels a little lacking and a little cheap compared to like a denser pop filter that you can buy, you know, a 2-pack on Amazon for $8, or, you know, the pop filters that you can get through like Rode. Like this feels a lot more dense and this feels a bit like thin and cheap, and you definitely need a good pop filter if you're using a dynamic microphone so you aren't blowing out people's ears. Another criticism is that this microphone picks up so much noise. You need a noise gate, friends. If you do not have a noise gate, you don't have like a Rodecaster, you don't have a compressor, you need to get something to reduce your background noise. Whether it doesn't matter if you use this microphone over XLR or USB-C, you need one. If you are on a budget and you can't afford like the Rodecaster Pro, Rodecaster Duo, the Elgato Wave XLR is the audio interface that I use, and you can download their Wavelink software. And you can get built-in like background noise removal plugins for free. You can also get plugins to EQ your voice, everything like this. I actually think this sounds better when I don't EQ my voice, but it definitely sounds even better when you have a noise gate on. So let me give you an example of what things sound like without the noise gate. All right, let me get a keyboard here because that's what most of us are doing. We're typing on a keyboard. I also just kind of want to show off my keyboard just to start with. Look at this, y'all. Y'all see this? Look at this bad boy here. Aren't these keys just gorgeous? The microphone is a good 3 inches away from the keyboard, and now, some might argue the whole point of a mechanical keyboard is to hear the clickiness of it, but some people don't want to hear that on like a stream or something. So like, do know that it's going to pick up the noise from your keyboard. Obviously, you're not really going to be tapping on your pop filter, but like if I just move my boom arm, y'all can hear that. So if I turn on a noise gate, or some background noise removal. Okay, you didn't really hear any of that, right? And now we're going to do the keyboard test. You didn't hear any of that, but if I talk, you can also kind of hear the popping in the background. So with this microphone, friends, and really with any dynamic microphone, you're going to want to get some sort of way to remove your background noise because it's going to be very audible. So I'm going to put my pretty keyboard away. If you're wondering what this is an Ala F75, friends. And I got these keycaps from AliExpress. It is just, I think just like the prettiest keyboard you've ever seen. those are the main criticisms. So let's talk about the price tag. So the price tag of this mic is $160. Here's the thing about the $160 price tag that I have with this microphone. If you are comparing this to some of the cheaper microphones, like I mentioned, the Fifine, the Mayanos, yes, this is way more expensive. I think for what you're getting though with this microphone, it is justifiable because a $40 microphone you can hear how bad it sounds compared to something that's in a more mid-range level, like $100, $150, $160 microphone. They're not comparable to me. You're going to be comparing this to a microphone, say like the original the original Rode Pod mic or like the Shure MV7. This mic sounds a bit more bassy than the Rode Pod mic. The Rode Pod mic sounds a bit more clear and crisp. This one is a lot more bassy, so if you kind of want like a bassy SM7B kind of voice, this one will help you get that. The other thing I have with the price of this microphone, I think it's going to be really hard for Movo, honestly, to compete with some of the brands that are established and everyone knows about them, Rode and Shure. They have microphones in this same price range that people naturally are probably going to go to because they see all of their other favorite creators using the same one. And the fact that Shure just came out with a more like a baby SM7B mic, I think it's going to be really hard for Movo to kind of compete with that. I personally don't know if I would have paid $160 for this microphone compared to the fact that I could go with a more larger brand, but if this were, say, like $100, for sure. Like I said, I use Movo audio products for other things, and I think they always sound great, and I love Movo. I think they've always been attractive with their prices, and their products have lasted me over the years. So I think it's just going to be really hard for them to compete with the $160 microphone. What's the Shure mic that just came out? Is it the SM7DV? Is that the baby one? No. Oh, baby, that thing is $500. It is not that one. Hold on. The Shure MV7 Plus is $279, so it's cheaper. It's definitely cheaper in that regard. The Shure MV6, that's the one. The Shure MV6 is cheaper than this microphone, and everyone knows Shure from Joe Rogan. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a hard time. Movo, I love y'all, I do, but I just don't think you can compete with this price point. Plus the fact that this microphone comes with a little microphone stand. Yeah, I think they're gonna have. Oh, but here's the thing that I missed. The Shure MV6 is just USB. It's not USB and XLR. I take that back. If you want to use just USB-C, Movo's going to have a hard time. But if you want XLR, you're going to be looking at the Rode Pod mic or the Shure MV7. So in that regard, they can compete. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. See, this is what happens when you do a product review like on the fly. I think for the $169 price point, if you are comparing this to the NV7 Plus or the original Rode Pod mic, which the original Rode Pod mic doesn't support USB-C. That's the thing. And the new Shure mic is only USB-C. What do we have for hold on, we're going to do some little research real quick. USB-C and XLR mics. What are our options? You have the Shure MV7 Plus. You have the Rode Dynamic. You have the new Rode Pod mic for $199, so it's more attractive at that point. MV7 Plus, it's almost $100 cheaper than that one. I wouldn't touch anything from Fifine or Mayano because they're not even in the same league. You have a HyperX, but that's a condenser. I might have to do a little bit more research on this bit, y'all. I didn't do as much research as I probably should have on this bit, but see what happens when you do product reviews on the fly? I should share my screen. I should have did this as a stream. If you are looking for a microphone that does USB-C and XLR, I think this is competitively priced between the two bigger brands, Shure and Rode. I honestly think Movo is going to have a challenge when people start to look at why would I pay this price when I can get a Fifine or a Mayano? I'm going to tell you right now, a Fifine and Mayano, I've heard those microphones on various videos and they do not sound anywhere near as good as this one. I think this microphone sounds really good for both XLR and USB-C. It depends on what you're looking for. I think in a mic, if you want dual connectivity options and you want something that sounds good and it feels good and doesn't feel cheap, I do think this is an attractive price. But again, you're going to want to look at are you going to travel with this? Do you need both connectivity? What's your budget? things like that. If you're still hanging in with this product review right now, because you're probably like, this is not a well put together product review. The audio, I think, sounds really clear. It sounds really crisp. Like I said, it sounds a little bassy. I like this a bit more than my Rode because it does add more bass to my voice, which I want, oddly enough. Like I want to sound like I have a Shure SM7B. I don't want to pay Shure SM7B prices because I can't justify it. I don't make content regularly enough for that. But I want to kind of sound like it, and I don't want to have to use like EQ and filters and things like that. So this microphone out the box does that for me. So I like that aspect. The thing I've learned with content creation is that just spend the money on the thing that you want ahead of time, because you end up spending more buying other cheaper alternatives when you should have just bought the one thing that you wanted that was more expensive. This goes for cameras, this goes for microphones, this goes for computers, lighting, whatever. Just buy the thing. Wait to buy the thing, save your money, and buy the thing that you want to buy and not buy cheaper models. So if you are like, I want to buy a good podcasting mic that sounds good, I don't want to spend $700, but I also like don't want to just spend $50 and have to keep buying microphones. I think this one sounds good. I haven't touched my Rode Pod mic since I bought this thing 2 months ago because that's just how much I like the sound. That's just me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed how like off the cuff and just unconventional of a product video this was. I know it doesn't always do well for views and stuff like that on YouTube, but I'm kind of over like the product reviews that are super flashy and showy and just feel like they're just trying to show you things and like not feel like it's like a human giving you real human thoughts. That could be to my detriment because I rambled in this video, but that could also be just an indication that like, I mean, when I say in this video and we're learning together. So yeah, if you want to check out this microphone, I left links for you in the description. And then I hope to see you in a future video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.